Right, because we've had a few more showers develop here over the past hour that are moving across parts of central Iowa here this morning. A little bit off to the west of the Des Moines Metro, kind of right along the Guthrie-Dallas County line. You can see one little ribbon of some heavier rainfall stretches from about Panora southward towards, let's say, the Stewart and Dexter areas. Just to the southwest of the metro area, well, actually, right on the west side of the Des Moines, West Des Moines, I guess, specifically, there was a little shower there too, and then down west of I-35, eastern Madison County, a few more showers. Some more storms, like John mentioned a short time ago, coming up across from Missouri and into far southern Iowa. Decatur County areas seeing some lightning thunder. That'll head northward towards Osceola and other areas as we head through the next half hour. And then we've just got a smattering of showers, kind of small popcorn type of stuff that's been blossoming across north central parts of the state as we've gone through about the past 60 minutes or so. Again, all of this non-severe. A lot of it's not even lightning and thunder for the time being. So there is no severe weather in central Iowa at this time. There is a tornado watch out to our south and west, crosses the river into far southwest Iowa, though. That yellow box, that's in effect until 8 o'clock. That's where the more severe part of this system is, and that will be moving our direction as we head through the day. John's going to talk about the timing on when some nasty stuff could get to us here coming up.
Yeah, Zane, as far as later on today, this is the severe weather outlook. We're going to be underneath that enhanced risk that includes the metro, aims further north along I-35, all of Iowa that's in southern, all of I-35 in southern Iowa, and then also a lot of I-80, especially east of I-35. We're going to be looking at more of those severe thunderstorms popping off later on, late morning, going into the afternoon, evening, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. You need to be weather alert throughout the rest of today because we're looking at all modes, tornadoes, large hail as well, and also the severe wind, strong winds are going to be expected with this system. So let's talk about it, going over the timing. As we head into around 8 o'clock, some of these showers and storms still going to be developing, but as far as the stronger stuff, it should hold off until closer to around 10 a.m. And then that's whenever, especially west of I-35, closer to the western border of Iowa, we're going to be looking at more of these storms developing and making their way into the central portion of the state. This is noon. Now you're looking at in the metro and along I-35, good chance for this even as we extend to 1 and 2 o'clock. But as we now shift our attention along and east of I-35 going into the afternoon. Now keep in mind, we're going to have these winds from the south warming us up. We're going to have the sun as well. This is the warmest part of the day, so this is whenever the storms can really thrive. So that's why the perfect timing for these storms to really take advantage of these stronger, these higher temperatures, more energy, especially around 4 o'clock. After the first wave of thunderstorms passes over us, we're not out of the woods yet. We have a clearing, so the sun's going to be able to warm things up a little bit more. That adds to the instability, and that's going to allow for more storms to fire off after that first wave. So we're not done yet. That's why we have that severe weather threat extending into the evening hours. But once the sun sets, we're going to be watching those temperatures drop. That creates more of a stable atmosphere. We're not going to be looking at as much of these severe weather opportunities, and that's why we're going to be looking at even just showers lingering at 10 o'clock and beyond. Now throughout Wednesday, we're still going to look at some showers, but we're done with the severe weather threat. In fact, we'll even open up the skies a little bit as we go into the afternoon and evening Wednesday, but it's still going to be quite windy. Forecast for today, scattered showers and storms expected. The severe weather threat, especially for the later morning hours extending into the afternoon and evening. For tonight, the severe threat comes to an end. We'll have temperatures dropping back down into the 50s. Some lingering storms still possible, but we're not going to be looking as strong. As far as Wednesday, temperatures back down in the mid 60s. It's cool rain expected on Friday. We're not going to be looking at any of those storms potential because of those cooler temperatures in place. Highs back in the 50s as we end the week, and as we go into the weekend, mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid and upper 50s, and that's the way we're starting off next week as well. We're seeing more of those 60s for highs with more sunshine. Not looking at any more active weather headed our way after Thursday.